approach creates an extra head that is called as a HA. Okay, it is the extra head. So in the yesterday's class, I have shown you some video in which you have seen the extra height which is created by this velocity of approach. Okay, that extra height, we are going to take it as HA, where HA is nothing but it is VA square divided by 2G. So how you are going to calculate VA? By taking the ratio of Q divided by area of the channel. So HA is nothing but it is the extra height which is generated by this velocity of approach, and it is taken as VA square divided by 2G. So while explaining the Bernoulli's equation, we have used a term HL. What is this HL? What is this HL? What is L?
Length, ma'am.
What is L? L. It is loss of head. Loss of head. If I ask you to consider the loss of head in the Bernoulli's equation, then how you are going to write the Bernoulli's equation? P1 by rho g plus V1 square divided by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square divided by 2g plus Z2 plus HL. What is this HL? It is the loss of head. Okay, this is called as the modified Bernoulli's equation, or where if you want to identify the loss of head, then you are going to use this equation. Next, if I want to identify, so forget about this, I just gave an example how to calculate the loss of head. So in this particular model, that is a model of a weir, if I ask you to calculate the velocity of approach, then how you are going to calculate the velocity of approach? By taking Q divided by area of the channel. Now where this VA is equated? The VA is equated in the equation HA, that is nothing but VA square divided by 2G. So finally the equation, that is if you take an equation of a rectangular notch or a weir or a broad crusted weir, so there in place of writing Q is equal to, so what was the equation? It is 2/3 of CD into L into square root of G into H raised to 3 divided by 2 is the equation for a rectangular notch or a rectangular weir. So in this particular equation, if I ask you to consider the velocity of approach, then this equation is written as 2/3 of CD into L into square root of 2G into capital H plus HA raised to 3 divided by 2 minus HA raised to 3 divided by 2. Understood? In spite of taking only H, we are going to consider H plus HA. That is, H is nothing but it is the height of the water. In that there is an extra height is there. That is nothing but it is the velocity of approach head. That is taken as HA raised to 3 divided by 2 minus HA raised to 3 divided by 2. So this is the equation when you are going to consider the velocity of approach. Suppose if I ask you to calculate the velocity of approach for a triangular notch, then how you are going to write the equation? Yes, tell me. How you are going to write the equation? Q is equal to 8 divided by 15 into CD into tan theta divided by 2 into square root of 2G capital H plus HA raised to how much? 5 divided by 2. Is it correct? Minus HA raised to 5 divided by 2. Is it 5 divided by 2 or 5 divided by 3?
5 divided by
How much? Is it 5 divided by 2 or 5 divided by 3?
5 divided by 2, ma'am.
Pi divided by 2. So this is how you are going to consider the velocity of approach. Why I am explaining these things? Because in the problem, many of the students, what they will do, they will read the problem and they will think that they have just asked you to calculate only this q without considering the velocity of approach. So therefore, make sure that you are going to read the problem thoroughly and then solve the problem. Okay, so is this understood? Is there any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then let us solve the problem on this concept. But before that, I'm going to explain the last derivation, that is discharged over submerged or a drowned weir. So what do you mean by submerge or a drown? What do you mean by discharge over submerged or drowned weir? The answer is in front of you. What do you mean by submerge? What do you mean by submerge? Drowned. Have you heard these words? Submerged.
Ma'am, above the crust weir, ma'am.
Tell me the general definition. What do you mean by submerged? Not related to this weirs and notch. Just tell me what is the meaning of submerged or a drowned. Is submerge.
Which is submerged in
Surface of an water, ma'am. Surface of water, ma'am.
Mhm. What do you mean by submerge?
Completely
Yes.
underwater, ma'am.
which is submerged in water, ma'am.
What is submerged in water? Tell
Weir,
me the
ma'am.
correct sentence. Any substance. I'm not talking about weir. I'm talking about the general. So any substance which is inside the liquid. We can't say whether it is a water only. So any liquid. So the surface which is inside the liquid is called as a submerged or a drowned. So here in today's class, we are going to derive the equation for a submerged and a drowned weir. Okay. So weir is completely inside the water or a liquid. Then we are going to say it as a submerged or a drowned weir. So why this term submerged or a drowned weir we have taken? Because in the last derivation also we seen that the water was overflowing the structure. So when the water overflows, then this particular structure will be inside the liquid. So why we are going to consider a particular thing like submerged or a drowned weir? So here in the previous derivation, we have taken two sections where in the first case the water was not overflowing, and in the second case the water was overflowing. Okay, so while deriving the Bernoulli's equation, first section we have taken where the water was just coinciding with the crust. In the second section we have taken the water was overflowing the crust. So therefore here in this particular type of a weir, the water may overflow or may it not. Okay, so two conditions are possible. The water may overflow. If the level of the water increases, then it may overflow. If it is less, then it will not overflow. Then in which condition you are going to say the water is completely flowing on the surface of the weir, that is submerged weir. So this particular thing exists in perennial rivers. There are two types of rivers are there. Have you heard about perennial river? Have you heard about perennial river? If you know, say yes. If you don't know, say no.
No, ma'am.
So there
Yes,
are
ma'am.
two types of rivers are there. One is perennial and non-perennial. When you say that the river is perennial, when throughout the month, so for all the month, the water will be flowing in that river, then we say that it is a perennial river. Non-perennial in the sense only in the seasonal, the water is flowing inside the river. In rest of the seasons, the river is dry. Then we are going to say it as a non-perennial river. Okay, this is the difference between perennial and non-perennial. So which type of example holds good for a non-perennial? It is a broad crusted weir, or any weir we can take, not only broad crusted, any weir where in case of a rainy season, the water will be overflowing. In case of a non-rainy season, the river is dry. So therefore you can see only less quantity of water which is coinciding with the crust, or it will be available at the upstream side, or there is no water itself. So drowned weirs or a submerged weirs are very good example for a perennial rivers, where throughout the year the water will be flowing. Throughout the year the water will be flowing, overflowing the structure, we can say. Okay, so this is the best example for a perennial and a non-perennial. So in the perennial, if the liquid or a water is of a less quantity, then it may coincide. If it is continuously flowing, then it may overflow. Okay, this is the example for a perennial and a non-perennial, and the difference between perennial and non-perennial. So now we are going to derive the equation for a submerged weir. So here, when the water level on the downstream side of the weir is above the crust of the weir, then the weir is called as a submerged or a drowned weir. So here in this case, if the level of the water level at the downstream side is above the crust of the weir, so which portion you are going to call it as a crust? So this is nothing but crust. So this is called as the crust of the weir. If the level of the water at the downstream side, this is upstream side, when the water overflows, this will become downstream side. If the level of the water is above the crust, then we are going to call these kind of weirs as a submerged or the drowned weirs. Understood the difference? If the level of the water at the downstream side is above the crust, then we are going to call it as a drowned or a submerged weir. So now at the upstream side, the height of the water above the crust is taken as a capital H. Simultaneously, the height of the water at the downstream side, I'm going to take it as a small h. Okay, so the height of the water at the upstream side, let me take it as a capital H. Simultaneously, the height of the water at the downstream side, I have taken small h. Now, this is the extra height when you're going to prolong this line from the upstream. So this is nothing but it is the extra height. So how we are going to identify this extra height? By taking capital H minus h. If you deduct capital H minus small h, then you are going to know what is the height from upstream level and downstream level. So this particular concept we have taken. So the portion between the upstream and downstream water surface may be treated as a free weir, and the portion between downstream water surface and the crust of the weir as a drowned weir. So at the upstream we are going to call it as a free, and at the downstream we are going to call it as a drowned water surface or a drowned weir. So here, as I said, capital H is nothing but it is the height of the water at the upstream side. Small h is nothing but it is the height of the water at the downstream side. So therefore, if you wanted to identify Q1, that is discharge, then for a rectangular weir or a broad crusted weir, the equation is 2/3 of CD1 into L into square root of 2G in spite of taking h raised to 3 divided by 2, I am going to take h minus h raised to 3 divided by 2. Okay, so the equation which I have explained, that is regarding velocity of approach, is different. For submerged weir, it is different. In the velocity of approach equation, we used to take h plus ha raised to 3 divided by 2 minus ha raised to 3 divided by 2 in spite of taking h. But here, in case of a submerged or a drowned weir, in spite of taking h, we are going to take h minus h. That difference you should know. So h minus h raised to 3 divided by 2. So this is the discharge only at the upstream side, only at the upper portion. Next, what is the discharge at the downstream side or a drowned portion? So that is calculated by taking the general equation of a discharge, that is area into velocity multiplied by some coefficient. Okay, because we are doing the experiment here. So whenever you are going to conduct the experiment and you are going to obtain the result, make sure that you are going to multiply it by some coefficients. So that coefficient I am going to take it as a CD2 because I am considering this portion. At the downstream or a drowned portion I have considered. Now, how is the surface of the weir looking like? It is a rectangular surface. Apply the area of a rectangular surface, that is L into H. So length into height multiplied by square root of velocity of flow, that is 2g. So whenever while taking the equation for velocity, we used to write 2gh. But here in this case, we are going to take 2g into h minus h. So this equation holds good only for submerged or a drowned conditions. Okay, so therefore square root of 2g into h minus h, wherever in place of h, write it as capital H minus small h. Now the total discharge is Q1 plus Q2. So what is Q1 here? It is 2/3 of CD1 into L into square root of 2g into h minus h raised to 3 divided by 2 plus CD2 into L into h into square root of 2g into h minus h. So now this is the equation, discharge equation for a submerged or drowned weir. So how you have to remember these equations? Just to go through the diagram. Okay, once you draw the diagram, once you come to know the difference, then you can easily write the equation. Repeatedly, I'm saying, please don't by heart these equations. Just understand the concept behind it. Okay, so is there any doubts in this? Is there any doubts in this? Hello, my voice is audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
This is the last part of the 4th module. If you don't have any doubts, then we'll solve few problems. So take the first problem. A broad crusted weir. So note down this problem. A broad crusted weir of a 50 meter length has 50 centimeter height of water, 50 centimeter height of water above its crust. Above its crust. Full point. Find the maximum discharge. Find the maximum discharge. Take CD equal to 0.60. Full point. Neglect velocity of approach. Neglect velocity of approach. Second, if the velocity of approach is to be taken, if the velocity of approach is to be taken into consideration, comma, find the maximum discharge when the channel has a cross-sectional area of 50 square meter on the upstream side. Have you taken the problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So here in this particular problem, which type of a weir they have taken?
Broad crested weir.
It is a broad crusted weir. Okay. So now what are the conditions? So it is a broad crusted weir. Next. What is the length of the weir? It is 50 meter length. 50 meter length it is, and has 50 centimeter height of water above its crust. Now this 50 centimeter height, where you are going to take? 50 centimeter of water above the crust. That is capital H is equal to 50 centimeter. What is the value for CD they have given? CD equal to how much?
0.60.
0.60. What you need to identify here?
Find the maximum discharge.
Maximum discharge. What is the equation for maximum discharge?
Q is equal to 1.750 into CD into L H raised to 3 by 2.
CD into L into H raised to 3 divided by 2. Okay. So in this particular problem, in the first case, they have given find the maximum discharge if CD is equal to 0.60, neglect the velocity of approach. So in this particular equation, we have not considered the velocity of approach. So neglecting velocity of approach, calculate what is the maximum discharge. So H is in terms of a centimeter, convert this into meter. Equate the value of a CD, L and H and tell me the maximum discharge without considering the velocity of approach. Text your answers. .08. Okay. Any other answers for maximum discharge? Shilpa Badigir, what is the unit for discharge?
Meter cube per second.
So whenever you are going to write the value for discharge, make sure that you are going to write the unit, correct unit. So any other answers for maximum discharge? Those who are present, raise your hands. Okay. The answer is 18.08 into, 18.08 meter cube per second. 18.08 meter cube per second. This is the first case. In the second case, you have to consider the velocity of approach and calculate the maximum discharge. Velocity of approach and calculate the maximum discharge. So which equation you are going to take to calculate the velocity of approach?
VA is equal to Q divided by A.
VA is equal to Q divided by, what is Q here? What do you mean by Q?
Discharge, ma'am.
Discharge. Divided by
Area
Area.
of channel.
area of channel. Okay. It is not area of the weir because they have given length and they have given height. So don't consider the area of the weir. You have to consider the area of the channel. Okay. So Q we have already identified, that is 18.08 divided by, what is the area of the channel they have given?
50.
50 meter square. So now what is the value of a VA?
0.36 meter per second.
0.36 meter per second. All of you got the same answer for velocity of approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Next, what is the equation for discharge when you're going to consider the velocity of approach? When you consider the velocity of approach, how are you going to write the equation? That is 1.705 into CD into L. How are you going to write H? H plus HA raised to 3 divided by 2 minus HA raised to 3 divided by 2. Now, how are you going to calculate this HA? How are you going to calculate HA?
VA square by 2G.
HA is nothing but it is the additional head due to velocity of approach. It is VA square divided by 2G. Okay. Now, what is this additional head? What is the value of additional head? So, VA we have obtained it as a 0.36, the whole square divided by 2 into 9.81. What is the value of HA?
0.0066, ma'am. 0.0066.
Okay. What is the unit for additional
Meter,
head?
ma'am.
Meter. Very good. Now equate the value of HA here and tell me the maximum discharge. Tell me the value for maximum discharge. Okay. Any other answers? Eight, 18.41. Okay. meter cube per second. 18.41 meter cube per second is the correct answer. Ravin Sungar, you have to write the unit. Okay, fine. Take next problem. Take next problem. Water is flowing in a rectangular channel of 1 meter wide, 1 meter wide and 0.75. So 1 meter wide and 0.75 meter deep. Okay, so water is flowing in a rectangular channel of 1 meter wide and 0.75 meter deep. Full point. Find the discharge over a rectangular weir of a crest length 60 centimeter. 60 centimeter. If the head of water over the crust of weir is 20 centimeter. 20 centimeter. And water from channel flows over the weir. Take CD equal to 0.62. Take CD equal to 0.62. Neglect end contraction. Neglect end contraction. Take velocity of approach. Take velocity of approach into consideration. Take velocity of approach into consideration. So calculate and tell me the answer for this. Calculate and tell me the answer. Calculate and tell me the discharge without considering the velocity of approach, and even the discharge for considering the velocity of approach. Calculate and tell me the discharge equation. So which kind of a weir it is? Which kind of a weir?
Rectangular, ma'am.
It is a rectangular weir. What is the equation for rectangular weir? Discharge equation for a rectangular weir. What is the discharge equation for a rectangular weir?
2/3 into CD into L into root 2G into H raised to 3/2, ma'am.
So 2/3 of CD into L into square root of 2G into H raised to 3 divided by 2. They have given the value of H. They have given the length and CD. Equate these values and tell me the discharge without considering the velocity of approach. So length and height, it is in terms of a centimeter, convert in meter and tell me the answer in terms of a meters. Tell me the value of a discharge. What is the discharge you are going to get? Discharge. Chaitranjali, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the answer for discharge.
0.098 meter cube per second.
0.098. Okay. Zero point zero nine eight. And simultaneously calculate the discharge by considering the velocity of approach. So velocity of approach is discharge by area of the channel. Discharge we have identified. So it is going to come as a 0.098 divided by what is the area? 1 into 0.75. Calculate the velocity of approach. Additional head is taken as VA square divided by 2G. So the obtained value of a VA, equate it here and tell me the value of a additional head. It is 0.1309. Okay. What is the value of additional head? 0.13 square divided by 2 into 9.81. Additional head
8.746 into 10 raised to minus 4.
okay, 8.7 or into
4
10 raised to
minus 4.
what is the unit?
Meter.
Okay, then calculate the discharge by considering the velocity of approach. It is 2/3 of CD into L into square root of 2G. Instead of taking as H, it is taken as H plus HA raised to 3 divided by 2 minus HA raised to 3 divided by 2. Calculate and tell me the answer for a discharge. So what is the value of a Q? What is the value of a Q?
0.097 meter cube per second.
0.097. Any other answers? Any other answers from your end? So the answer for Q is 0.097 meter cube per second. So this is the correct answer. So take the assignment. Take the assignment. So you people have to give the presentation on ventilation of wears. Ventilation of wears. So this is the topic. You have to give the presentation. So this is the assignment for you all. And tell me when you are going to give the presentation. What is the deadline?